It came back at 0.8. The PPI reading, this is again, producer price inflation, was expected at 0.3%. It came back at 0.5, higher than expected. At 9:45, we have Chicago PMI. At 10 o'clock, we have construction spending, and then construction spending from the November timeframe. Let's jump right in here to our VIX chart. And the dollar is relatively quiet. We're still just going sideways here, and there's a neutral correlation with the indices. Bank is stuck between two opposing setups, but there is a short from highs and a long from lows. More importantly, though, the VIX ran into its lows of the year to highs of the year after dipping into our lows yesterday. At 9:30, we squeezed straight up. And then as we were coming into our 11 o'clock time frame, had a pullback. Now, this VIX long setup was dipped into in the last hour of the day, but it redefended overnight. You can see here that it has now completed its profit target. With all of the geopolitical events that are going on in the world, it's not a surprise to see the VIX being bid up going into a weekend here. Now, the big question as we go into our morning, though, is if we see the VIX, because the VIX has completed another profit target, could it fall from that target back into another full retracement long from lows? You can see it's running right into its resistance level, and it's running right into a profit target. And what we were watching for this morning is to see if we had a dip into highs and then a green close on the indices and then a red close below that VIX previous high. But you can see here that we're well above that previous high of the day yesterday. And so there is a possibility as we go into our morning that these old previous highs on the VIX could act as support and lift us off into a continuation of a rally as we're going into our morning. What that would look like on the indices and in relation to gap fill statistics is we are well below the 30 handle here. In fact, we're at this point almost exactly 100 points from our highs yesterday, 61. So a little bit more than 100 points from yesterday's open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This previous high, that 2065, let's mark that here just so we have a reference point at the same time, at the same price as we're looking at the ES. This is the ES previous low. We sold off from resistance in the last hour of the day yesterday, and we were selling off. And notice that the target is the 2097. The equivalent target on the ES is the 6844. We're in a pro gap down and go situation. Gap fill statistics for Fridays are already not a very large edge. There's only 66% over the last 180 days. It has gotten better, yes, over 90 days, 72% increasing, 83% increasing over the last 30 days. But when you find yourself outside of the 20, it's a 50% probability. When you find yourself outside of the 30, there's only a 32% probability. We are well outside of the 30 here. In fact, 91, 81 would be 40, 71 would be 50, 61 would be, what is that, 70? Pretty big move, pretty large distance. So, we are in these gigantic ranges on this stream continues at eMiniAddict.com. The link is in the description. Join me there for tools and resources for learning measured move trading. I wrote the book on the measured move. Check out the hundreds of others that have learned trading plan development, pattern recognition, money management, and trading discipline with me to become the best, most confident trader that you can be.